U.S. activists say American voters' rights are under attack and that Black and Latino voters are the principal targets. Civic groups like the NAACP and the Urban League will be joining labor unions in nationwide protests against state voter identification laws. Proposed legislation would require all voters to present additional government ID, like a driver's license, before they could cast their ballot.
As we enroll in larger and larger numbers, then the rules always seem to change.
The head of one of America's largest unions says the intimidation of poor people is at the heart of the legal battle.
The idea for people, if you don't have a job, if you don't have income coming in, then to buy a government ID seems like a waste of money. So when you look at the statistics, the people that would be most eliminated from that are the working poor and people of color, because we don't have that extra resource to carry around an ID that is of no value to us.
More than a dozen U.S. states have already passed voter ID laws in the past year. Proponents say the measures stop voter fraud. Many of the states where the new laws are being pushed are where large numbers turned out to support Barack Obama in his 2008 run to become the first African-American president. Many Republican lawmakers have claimed the votes were tainted by people who were unqualified to vote. Many legal experts say actual cases of voter fraud are almost non-existent.
People come after your right to vote, it's easier to come after all of your other rights.
Ben Jealous, president of the NAACP, says he wants the world to know that minority voting rights in the U.S. are non-negotiable. On December 10th, his group will join thousands in a day of action against voter identification legislation that will culminate at the United Nations on International Human Rights Day.
It's important to be at the UN to send a message to the world that minority voting rights will not be destroyed in the U.S. The Arab Spring is really, in many ways, inspired by what happened here 50 years ago. 50 years ago, we, black people in this country, won the right to vote. Now they're coming after it piece by piece. They've gone after Sunday voting, early voting, same-day registration.
Recent studies suggest that roughly 11% of the U.S. population does not have a valid government ID. Maine and Mississippi voters are deciding if their states will be the next to have these laws in place next year. If voter ID legislation were to pass in all of the states in America, 25% of Black and Latino registered voters would be ineligible to vote next year. That would severely cut into the base of Barack Obama, a base the president will surely need if he has any hopes of getting re-elected in 2012. Gary Anthony Ramsey, Press TV, New York.